This is IBM Museum, and it's time for another unboxing. I've had this box set aside. I've masked over the appropriate areas on the box. It's been sitting maybe a week. I've been wanting to start using it, and so let me get flipped around and show. We'll go through and open it up, and I've got my knife. And pardon the mess on the bench. That is some videos that are coming up. In fact, I'll be able to maybe, I thought these had a full tab, but this is kind of a wraparound. Yeah, I could probably just peel up a flap. And let's look to what is inside. Nice bubble wrap packaging, anti-static bag, pretty critical. I've been running the swamp cooler or the evaporative cooler within here, and it adds water. Under the heat, it actually keeps it the moisture, or it adds moisture in the air. And this is stapled shut. Kind of a, or maybe it's a temperature. I just feel like a feels like a staple. The one staple was fine, but this one wants to hold on. Well, I'm not sure. Kind of look at. Oh, okay, so there's. Yeah, I do see the one staple there. Of course, you don't want staples to fall into anything like this assembly either. Pull out this little beautiful board. I can go right to the point of using it. In fact, I've got to find out. I wanted to find out with my camera setup if I was able to show this. I've got a planer that's pretty well packed back here. And there that is from Tube Time US's design. And that even has the optional 8-character display, the info panel for PS2s that have the support for that in BIOS, but do not have an info panel installed. All kind of neat little information on here. And this is not PCI, this is microchannel. And to stupid. And with a bunch of characters broken computer, you can probably figure it out. For the logic probe, logic probe 1 and logic probe 2. Another fine card by Tube Time. And then we have to the back. I mean, microchannel has an orientation. At least you can't mix it around. And it's the MC Mechanic microchannel postcard to help you fix your beat up old PS2. Remember to take breaks. Best of luck. Guru meditation number. You got this. Some lights up here. Some points for voltages and things like that should be present as well. Not much on the back otherwise. Quality assurance, quality control passed for the sticker. You If you can't fix it, why not give it to Tube Time? Laugh out loud, just kidding. MCA only. This is not PCI. There's the back of the logic probe information. And credits. And now I saw Eric doing this on some Twitch streams. I saw a little bit of them. I'll give a link to where those are at. So credits designed as Tube Time. Inspiration is Curious Mark. And I agree. Curious Mark is quite the inspiration. Info, IBMMuseum. Thank you for saying I'm information. And then Thomas, and we're talking about Major Tom there, and Bit Savers. Moral support, Ken, Carl, and Mike. And all of those are great individuals. I've had interfacing to most everyone there. But this is a microchannel bus, of course, postcode card. In other words, you get the postcodes out on that 2-digit display. You've got test points for leads and things like that too, LEDs for signals and things like that. And it's quite a bit more addressable in the IO address of what it's on. And of course, microchannel is on as default for the primary port of 0680 hex. And there's a secondary postcode port for planers like this PS2 model 65SX. I think on the 55SX models, Major Tom was saying that that's on there as well. I didn't know if it came set for. It does look like it 0680. And the thought is I could even go through and put that on that alternate port. I've got other postcode readers. I'll have to see if that'll maybe do some information for me, because we've all seen the other postcode boards that I've had out and went through, and these are able to be set to that 680 hex port, but not that alternate. And that's kind of the alternate is a kind of like a subroutine where you have more granular codes within the major section of the code that's sent to 680 hex. And so there's even thought that I could maybe even go through and set this for that alternate port and have two boards and don't conflict with each other, giving the codes. Now I'm going through and I'm troubleshooting this 65SX, and this thing it's going through and it's giving me some nutty responses. And thankfully it goes through and it goes through the postcode sequence and everything else. I was even trying to think, with all these loaded up adapters and everything, of a way to be able to show this in operation. And I might go through, because really, this going through and actually booting is not critical for this. And really, for the upcoming video, I go through and I'm preventing it, or I'm going through and want to test it booting. And I'm going to go through I'm actually going to, yeah, we can go through and we can actually pull, and I can go through and I can arrange. I've got even things sitting on the Sims to weigh it down, those down, so they fit very well in the socket. And I want to go through first, trying to come up with a good way to do this. It'll be nice that it goes through and yeah, I'll get my little webcam here, kind of peeking over things just to kind of show. And I need to see, of course, I just put that in place. So I need to see how that shows up otherwise. Give it some cord slack. Okay, as soon as I confirm that, I will be right back. We probably won't have to do video capture. And I guess now is probably the best time as it is actually to go through. Let me show the Twitter page from Tube Time that goes through and announces this. And we're not logged into Twitter, of course. But here is happy to announce the completion of my latest project, the MC Mechanic. It's a postcard to help you troubleshoot your weird old IBM PS2 computer's microchannel bus. Download the design files here. And I'll include the link to this in the video description. And I wouldn't even be surprised. Eric sent me this himself. That maybe this is even the same adapter that I have in my hands now of what's shown here. I'm not for certain, but there's some links that he had put up about as he went through the development. Even if Twitch goes through and knocks out the live streams he did of the during the development, the stuff that I happened to see. There's links on here that he documents very well the steps he went through. Even shows that Mall 77 at Curious Mark, and remember that's the planer that I sent over to fix that machine. And Eric even went through and tried to get the old, even an older planer that I'd sent through functional, and I just didn't want to go. I'd done my little extraction of a particular chip on the planer, and it just didn't go well for me. I didn't use the tools, the good tools like Eric has available, and he just wasn't able to get that board to respond, even with. And there was that video's it's great. The troubleshooting process that they went through, and in particular holding down a particular area to figure out it was one of the vias, one of the plate through holes on the planer, and it wasn't giving codes initially, but even showing some close-ups, all the people that responded on this thread. I could have gone through and offered my congratulations too, because I think it'll be really kind of cool to try this out. I'm really interested, in fact, in the having it be as an alternate. And I do have the parallel port postcode reader back there too. But let me see what my camera is my webcam is showing here. And I even need to get a little bit longer of extension on that parallel port postcode reader. I just actually flipped it. It's actually kind of upside down, but that's probably a real good view. Of course, we have the MC Mechanic in this slot here. It's actually slot 3 of the planer. Doesn't really make any difference. These boards do not have where they need an ADF or anything else like a conventional microchannel board. And then on the interposer above that is one of my other postcode readers. And I have everything set to the primary address. And of course that parallel port, it just takes out the codes, and it doesn't supply any of the other things like voltage levels and signals, and that a post code that goes in the bus adapter can provide in that case. So let's go through and then just flip the switch. So we see things roughly turn over the same sort of way. Some displays do that better than others. And I do have to where I could, go to the video capture, but this thing it's going to halt prior to booting. I don't even have a speaker connected, so we don't hear the boot. So it's going to get up to that last code, and of course we're not pressing F1 or anything like that. Although we could have it cycle the ROM basic, there's no big deal with that. But what I'm really interested in here is in fact, can I cut down on the lighting just to see? And we can't really see the off angle. And I may just have to not worry about doing that parallel port card. But I did want to get where my keyboard cable is in the way. My keyboard cable goes more in the way the more I tried to get it out of the way. Okay. I'm having just to make some adjustments just to see if I can get that for the human eye, that readout does very well on the postcard, on this postcard. And of course, we can see it on the MC Master as well. But on camera, it just doesn't show up very good at all, being kind of off kilter. I'd be worried on, yeah, I can't really go through and adjust. Well, let me see if I can go through. Yeah, that might work. Yeah, I'm actually gonna pause the video while I go through and do that adjustment, because I think that'll be a good one once I'm finished with it. Yeah, and I had to go through it. Weird setup. Here, I had to actually even put a piece of cardboard over that uh, postcard on the interposer. You'll want to have around because the LED just didn't that 8 segment display did not want to show up correctly, or 7 segment display. Excuse me. Um, and what we're going to do here, I'm going to go through and power down, but I want to change, and I apologize for kind of the real convoluted way that I have things set up. I guess I do have that parallel port postcode reader in the corner, but I just cranked that last. So we're going through and we have the MC mechanic on that 0681. And remember, just so conventional postcards otherwise are not able to do that. So do you see that? How that is flipping over, probably in memory checks. It has the primary postcode for for that primary port, the 0680, and then kind of the subroutine of the other check. And I want to do that. If we do a control delete, it should still go through the postcode. So it gets up there, and it, of course, it just says 00 for a lot of it. And didn't go through the memory check. So let's go through. I want to power down and power up just to kind of show that. I wish I had a nice little view of the MC mechanic as well, as it does this, not this really convoluted way of trying to get in tight there and getting the webcam covered and everything. See, for postcode 53 primary, or 56, all these the sequence, it sure goes through a lot of other little more granular steps on that alternate port. So this could be very handy if there's something within those particular routines for the major postcode that you need just to see a little bit more of what is actually stopping the system. And even though it's really kind of convoluted, I can go through and leave that up with all the strobes and lights and everything else to do my outro here. If you were entertained by this unboxing, go ahead and click on the like button, please. My thanks to Eric for getting this adapter. He sent me one for me to check out, for me to use, and it's going to be very appreciated because it does that different thing of that alternate port with microchannel that gives me the instances where I can use it there. So I really thank him. Thank him for listing me as credit on the back among Major Tom and everything else. I know I can go through and thank him from Major Tom for crediting him too. And I don't know if there's really was any pictures on the back or anything like that for the tweet. So that's my first time seeing that stuff too. So as always, subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. Apparently, Tube Time thinks I'm one of the informative people that he gives credit there. And recommend it to your friends that may be interested in this sort of content too. But this is IBM Museum. That's all I have for now. Thank you.